Hello, everybody. This week we're going to talk about planning the play of a suit contract. I apologize for the sound of my voice, but that's the way it goes. Alrighty. Planning the play of a suit contract. The person up at the top is a mystery guest who will reappear later in the presentation. So where are we? Last week we talked about, last 2 weeks really, we talked about planning the play of a no trump contract and how it's important to, as soon as dummy comes down, make a plan for how you're going to play the hand and then stick to it. Just make your plan, remember it, and execute it. So today we're going to do the same thing when we're declaring a suit contract. And as you know, after we finish our 24 weeks, we'll loop back to the beginning and return to declare a play. The usual reminder how we learn bridge: repetition is the key. My mom must have said second hand low on defense 1,000 times, and I still blow it. Um, and again, the whole process of you hear something and then it starts to become more familiar, and then eventually it becomes like a reflex you don't even have to think about. What we want to do is continue to work our way through this process. And in a typical presentation, you'll see pieces of it that lie in every different part of this spectrum. And so I encourage you to reflect as you hear things in a presentation on kind of where they are, how you're progressing, and so on. Planning the play of a no trump contract. We talked about this last week. No trump is a race. The offense is going to count their winners, think about where they can find more, and try to establish them. The defense, while they can't see both of their hands, the defense is typically attacking their longest suit, trying to set up tricks in their suit. So as declarer, we want to count our winners, tricks we can take immediately. We don't shoot them off because that'll open up the suits for the opponents to take tricks. And then we look for ways to take more tricks. Again, the defense is trying to do this at the same time. It's usually a race who can establish their long suit first and then just take a bunch of winners in that suit. We've looked at the tools of establishing, promoting, setting up honor cards, establishing long suits, taking finesses, and leading toward unsupported honors. When we're playing a suit contract, things are very different. We're in control because we have our trump suit. They can't take a lot of tricks in their long suit, so we don't have to worry about that. Instead, what we want to focus on is, instead of counting winners, we want to count losers. And then we want to ask the question, how can we make some or all of them go away? And the tools that we'll use, the one that's really different than no trump is we can ruff or trump the losers in the hand that has the short trump suit. We'll talk much more about this next week, but the basic idea is we can ruff losers. And in addition, we can use all of the tools from our no trump playbook. First, it's usually essential to call trump early if you're in a suit contract. Very easy to do. You just, oh no, that's not how you do it. Call trump. Calling trump, that's a verb in bridge language, to take away the defender's cards in your trump suit. As always with bridge topics, there are synonyms: call trump, draw trump, pull trump, get the little children off the street. I will use these interchangeably. Unfortunately, I wish I could force myself to use only one, but I can't because I grew up using all of them. The defenders love to rough your good side suit tricks. If you start running tricks in a side suit before you call trump, they're going to rough them and they're going to take away your winning trick. Or if you're trying to rough tricks in your hand or in dummy without calling trump first, they might be able to over rough you. So generally, we want to call trump so that doesn't happen. There are times, we'll look at an example this week and more next week. There are times when you do want to delay calling trump. You don't want to do it right away. The key reason is you want to rough things in dummy, but you don't have many trump in dummy. And if you call trump, you don't have any left. So sometimes you have to rough before you call trump. We'll talk about that once today and several times next week. Here's a simple example of roughing or trumping a loser in the shorthand. Suppose the defense, we're playing four spades. Suppose the defense starts by taking three club tricks and then they lead the queen of diamonds. Well, let's look at South's hand. If we played this like a no trump contract, we could win one, two, three, four, five spade tricks. Two hearts is seven, and two diamonds is nine, but we'd lose the three of hearts at the end. Is there anything we can do? Yes. We will take away the opponent's trumps. Let's assume they split 2-2 or 3-1. And then we will ruff the three of hearts in dummy. We'll take away the trumps. We'll win the ace, king of hearts, and then we'll lead the three of hearts and rough it in dummy. And poof, the loser is gone. So again, we'll talk today about planning the play of a suit contract. After they take three club tricks and switch to diamonds, our plan is call trump and rough one heart in dummy. And just like when we make a plan declaring a no trump contract, all we want to do is make the plan and then execute it. We don't have to waste our brain power on a bunch of other stuff. It's just, oh, okay, I'll call trump and rough the three of hearts. Many benefits to this, uses a lot less brain power, and it actually means that the play goes faster and smoother and simpler at the table. So when I talk about counting losers, how do I think about it? And I'm going to show you how physically how I see the hands. So this is declarer and this is dummy. South is the long trump hand. When we count losers, we're always going to count, well, if there's a long trump hand, we want to count from the perspective of the long trump hand because it's just generally much easier. So South is the long trump hand. Let's go suit by suit. Diamond suit. Dummy has the ace of diamonds, and they're going to be able, that ace of diamonds is going to be able to win the trick when we play the seven. And we've got a bunch of trumps. If the opponents play diamonds, we just rough them. So we're not going to lose any tricks in the diamond suit, club suit. Well, clearly we're going to lose the ace of trump. Heart suit. I see the king and queen and dummy in my brain. They're like literally sitting on top of the eight and the three. So what I'm seeing is king, queen, jack, 10. We have one heart loser, the ace of hearts, but that's it. Nothing to worry about. Same idea in spades. We're going to lose the ace of spades. Yeah, I guess we have nine. They have four. They could have four to the ace. On one side, and maybe we lose two spades, but we just don't worry about 4-0 breaks. It's just not worth worrying about. If it happens, it happens. So here's our plan. Straightforward. We will, first of all, call trump. Notice that requires losing a trick to the ace of spades and then finishing the job. So our plan is step one, call trump. Step two, lose the ace of hearts and the ace of clubs. Nothing we can do about those. We'll end up losing three tricks. Again, how do I think about counting losers from South's perspective? South is the long trump hand, so we're going to count losers from South's perspective, not from North's. We could do it from North, but it's just way harder. The spade suit is solid. There are no losers. So let's look at the other suits. King of diamonds will cover our little diamond. King of hearts will cover one of our little hearts. But we do have a heart loser and three club losers. Looks like the defense can take a heart trick and three club tricks. Is there anything we can do? I don't think there's anything we can do about the club losers, but is there something we can do about the heart loser? Yes. Here's our plan. Take away the opponent's trumps. We're going to be able to rough that heart in dummy. So we're going to take away the opponent's trumps and we're going to rough the heart loser. We're going to start high from the short side. It's just more convenient, probably not critically important. But we're going to go over to the king of hearts and then back to the ace of hearts. And then we can lead our last heart to rough and dummy. So, what I said last week about no trump, same thing here. Make your plan. Queen of Diamonds is led. Nothing we can do about the clubs. We want to ruff the one heart. Our plan is call trump and then rough the heart loser. You don't have to think about anything else. All the club stuff is going to happen. You just don't have to worry about anything else. Don't count their cards. Just execute the plan. Make the plan, execute the plan. And again, one of the big side benefits of this is that the play of the cards will just be much smoother and much faster, and you're much less likely to forget what your plan was. Let's look at another one, how I think about counting losers. South, it's a four spade contract. South is the long trump hand. So we'll plan from South's perspective. One suit at a time, diamond suit. We have the ace king of diamonds in dummy. They cover South's small diamonds. So we're not going to lose any tricks in the diamond suit. Club suit. We have the king of clubs in dummy. I envision that sitting on top of the two. So we're going to lose the ace of clubs, but that's it. Clearly, there are no spade losers, and clearly, there are no heart losers. If they try to take heart tricks, we just rough them. So, what's our plan? Call trump, give up the ace of clubs, and we take 12 tricks. Interesting thing is, for those of you who've done some bidding stuff, I count 25 high card points, but this is a rock solid, easiest six spade contract you'd ever declare. Nobody is ever going to bid this slam. It's really hard to bid slams that depend critically on where a few cards lie. If you move this ace or king or this king over to the heart suit, there's no slam anymore. So anyway, don't worry about it on the bidding. Be happy you got to four spades, then make your plan, call trump, give up the ace of clubs, take 12 tricks. You only have to use a few synapses to get through this one, and that saves your brain for the next hand. So again, we talked last week of how you want to make a plan as defender. When dummy shows up, just relax. Literally take a breath and take the time to think and make a plan. Somebody asked last week, how long can you think? For me, the thinking at this point is probably around 5 or 7 seconds on a typical hand, maybe 10. And then there's some hands where I think a lot longer than that. One thing to learn over time is if you find yourself thinking too long, you just stop because you're not going to get anywhere. I've found myself in situations where I'm looking at dummy and looking at my hand, and I realize what I'm actually hoping is that the cards will change and make it easier. And the cards never change. It never gets easier. So try to make the plan in, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. If you're looking at hands the way we did previously, losers covered, we got to rough that, boom, off we can go. So we'll look at a bunch more examples today. In a no trump contract, when you're making your plan, you count your winners and then look for ways to take more. Finesse, promotion, length. In a suit contract, you count losers in the long trump hand and look for ways to make them go away. Let's look at some more examples. How I think about counting losers from South's perspective. We're in a three club contract. South is the long trump hand, so we'll count losers from South's point of view, one suit at a time. Ace of diamonds covers the jack. We're not going to lose any diamond tricks. If they try to take diamond tricks after that, we can rough them. Dummy's jack of hearts gives us a pretty darn solid club suit. Yeah, we have to lose the ace of clubs, but that's all. It's okay to ignore the possibility of a 4-0 split. So we have one loser in the club suit. I see one loser in the heart suit. If we play the ace king, they're unlikely to throw the queen under it. And we have two spade losers. Is there anything we can do about any of the losers? Well, we can't make the ace of clubs go away. And I don't see any way to get rid of the spade losers, but in hearts, we can try a finesse. That's one of our tools, right? So what's our plan? We win the opening lead. We start on clubs, knocking out the ace of clubs, and then we get back in and we call trump, and then let's lead a heart from dummy and try a finesse, hoping the queen is in east. If the queen is in east, our heart loser goes away, and we will only lose three tricks, two spades and the top club. If the queen of hearts is in west, um, then we'll lose the queen of hearts and the two spades and the club. So we'll lose three or four tricks, but we can make this plan at trick one, and then we just execute it. Let's look at another example. Two heart contract by South. South is the long trump hand, so we'll count from South's perspective, one suit at a time. I see two diamond losers, nothing I can do about that. Again, visually, this is how I think about it. The king, queen of clubs are sitting on top of the 10 and the 4. Another way to think about it is when I play the 4, I'll play the queen. When I play the 10, I'll play the king. Anyway, I don't have any club losers from South's perspective. I got the ace, king, jack of hearts. I don't have any heart losers. And in spades, I'm looking at three spade losers. Is there anything that I can do? Well, we can ruff one spade in dummy. Dummy only has two spades. So we'll be able to ruff one of our spades in dummy. But it's important to go through the process. Two diamond losers, three spade losers. Can I get rid of any? Not in diamonds. Aha. I could ruff one of the spades in dummy. And we'll talk next week. Dummy is the short trump hand. We're going to take 5 heart tricks on this hand no matter what. If I ruff a diamond in South, I'm roughing it with a heart trick I was going to win anyway. So I don't actually benefit myself. We're looking at this from the point of view of South. But if I can ruff a spade in dummy, I'm adding a trick. I'm taking a trick with a heart that would, if I just ran the hearts, fall in that run of the heart suit. So what's the plan? We get in, we call trump, we ruff a spade in dummy. Yeah, we'll have to give up the lead and let them take their 2 spade tricks. But we'll ruff our last spade in dummy. We'll lose 2 diamonds and 2 spades. There's an incredibly small chance if the clubs are 3-3, then the 4th club will be good. Well, it's not incredibly small. It's a 36% chance. If they don't take their 2 diamonds early, we'll call trump, and then we'll play the ace of clubs and go over to dummy to win the king, queen of clubs. And if the clubs split 3-3, our last club, the 13th club, is good. We can play it and win a trick. We don't throw away a spade because we can always ruff the spade in dummy. We would throw away a diamond. How do I think about counting losers from South's point of view? Let's look at this hand, 6 spade contract by South. South is the long trump hand. We'll count from South's point of view. The ace and queen, I guess there's a typo, the ace and queen of diamonds in dummy cover 2 of the small diamonds, but I am looking at 1 diamond loser. I am certainly looking at the ace of clubs as a loser. What about the heart suit? I've got the ace king, but I'm looking at a heart loser. No spade losers. So I can only afford 1 losing trick, but I'm looking at 3 possible losers. So what could I do? Well, after we call trump, we can ruff the diamond loser in dummy. So that loser's going to go away. Nothing we can do about losing the ace of clubs. But if we play the king of clubs and they take the ace, now our queen is good. And when we play the queen, we can throw away our heart loser. We don't want to throw away the diamond loser because we can ruff that. We play the queen of clubs and throw away the heart loser. So the plan is we get in, we call trump, we play and lose the king of clubs, which sets up the queen. We ruff a diamond in dummy, and we cash the queen of clubs, discarding our small heart, losing only 1 trick. Let's let's suppose that they led a diamond. We'll win a diamond trick. We'll call trump just for simplicity. Let's suppose it happens in 2 rounds. We're still in, what the heck? Let's make it 3 rounds. We're still in dummy. The spades broke 3-1. We're still in dummy. Let's cash the ace of diamonds to get it out of the way. Let's lead a club and lose the ace of clubs. So the opponents now have taken one trick. Let's imagine they lead back a heart. We'll win the king of hearts. We'll play a diamond and rough it in dummy. And now we'll play the queen of clubs and we'll throw away our heart loser. And all we're left with is good tricks in our hand. So we only lost the one trick. Slam contracts, we'll talk about this in week 24. Slam contracts are often very simple to play compared to the typical 3 no trump or 2 no trump or one spade, whatever contract. And the reason is that we don't bid slams unless we got a lot of really good stuff. Okay, more on planning the play. Pick the hand with the longer trump suit. For simplicity, in these examples, I've assumed it's south and assumed south is the declarer. Doesn't have to be, could be reversed. We count the losers in that hand. It's okay to include help from dummies high cards. In fact, it's essential. You saw the way we looked at things and thought about, oh, the ace of diamonds in dummy covers this card. That's how we want to think about it. Once we identify our losers, we look for ways to eliminate the losers. We want to count the losers. We actually want to be specific and see which cards they are so that we know which cards we need to make go away. We have a whole bunch of tools. In a suit contract, we can rough them in the short trump hand, but we can also use all the tools that we've learned from no trump play, and we saw some of them on the last hand. We can discard our losers on winners in dummy, like when we threw that heart away on the queen of clubs, and we can take finesses or other forms of positional value. Here's another hand that's a little harder from South's point of view. 4-spade contract. South is long trump hand, one suit at a time. King of diamonds covers the 6. We do have to lose the ace of diamonds, but that's it. Club suit. I see the ace in dummy. It covers the 4. There's no losers in clubs. And I do have a heart loser. Oh, side comment. So I left this up here. Sorry, I'll fix it. South is the long trump hand. South actually doesn't have any more trump than dummy does. But a little trick you'll learn over time is when each hand has the same length in the trump suit, it's easier to count from the perspective of the stronger hand. Why? Because there are just fewer losers sitting here. If you were looking at the north hand, it might be a little more uncomfortable. In this case, they turn out to be pretty similar, but generally, if there's no long trump hand, you count from the perspective of the stronger hand, the one with more high cards. Anyway, we have one diamond loser, one heart loser. We have 2 spade losers. They have 5 spades, including the ace jack. They're likely to break 3-2. If we just play the king, they're going to take the ace. And now they still have 3 to the jack. The jack is unlikely to fall under the queen. And, it'd be really nice if they led the ace of spades and then we could just win the king queen and that would take care of things. But they're not going to help us out that way. We have 2 potential spade losers. It's not that easy to see. But we're certainly going to lose the ace. We could lose the jack. So what's our plan? We're going to hope spades split 3-2. We're going to rough this heart loser in dummy at some point. How are we going to play the spade suit? I think we looked at an example like this a few weeks ago. What we're going to do is hope that the ace is in east, and we're going to lead toward the king queen and hope that the person with the ace is pickled. And if they play high, great. Now we have the king, queen. And if they play low, we win the queen. And then we go back over to dummy and we do it again. So let me turn on the annotator and give an example. Let's suppose that they lead a heart. So I'm going to win the heart in dummy. What the heck? Let me rough my heart loser right away. Now it's gone. And now I'm going to lead a spade. And if the ace is sitting on this side, I'm going to play the queen and it's going to win the trick. And now I'm going to go back over to dummy and I'm going to play another spade. And if this person jumps up with the ace, my king is good. And if they play small, I win the king. And if the spades are 3-2, this person still has the ace of spades, but that's it. And I'm golden. I'll just knock out the ace of diamonds and I'm going to be home free. A little more advanced, we get a heart lead, we win it, we rough in dummy, we play a small spade, and it goes to the queen, and that time this person wins the ace. Okay, so they still have 3 spades. They have the jack and 2 little spades. Well, if we play the king, these jack and 2 little are likely to be 2 on one side, 1 on the other, and the jack is more likely to be on the 2 side. So if we play the king, the jack is not likely to fall. Let's imagine they return a club. I'm going to win, say, win the club in dummy. And now I'm going to play another spade, and I'm going to take a finesse for the jack. I'm going to hope the jack is over here. And if it works, I'm golden, and if not, not. This is a much more difficult play when you look at it in context. The key idea here is let's plan to lead twice toward the king, queen. And if the ace is on the right, we're golden. And if the ace shows up on the left, then after we played hands like this enough, we'll say, you know, instead of playing the queen, I think I'll take a finesse for the jack. Usually we want to call trump soon. We looked at this hand before. We were going to make 12 tricks. We were going to start out by calling trump, giving up the ace of clubs, and that was it. Other than that, South's hand is golden. The risk here, you can't just start taking your diamond and club tricks. You have to go after your trumps right away. Because if you just start taking diamond and club tricks, they're going to trump them. So you need to call trump immediately, call trump, pull trump, get the little children off the street. An extension of that, sometimes you have to delay calling trump, and we'll talk about this more next week. If you have important work to do, contract is 2 spades by South, opening lead is the queen of diamonds. We're counting from South's perspective. South is the long trump hand. We have 2 diamond losers. The ace of diamonds covers 1, but we have 2 diamond losers. We have 2 club losers, no heart losers, and we have 1 or 2 spade losers. If the spades break 2-2, we can win the ace and give up a trick, and that's the end of the spades. If the spades are more likely 3-1, we'll win the ace, and now they have 2 good spades. There's nothing we can do about it. If they suit splits 4-0, we got 3 spade losers. Nothing we can do about it. Very unlikely. Don't even think about it. Just ignore it. If it happens at the table, you just shrug it off. So there's 5 or 6 losers. Any ideas? Yeah, we can rough the 2 small diamonds in dummy. But if we follow the usual plan, if we call trump first, there's going to be no diamonds left in dummy, or at most 1. And then we can't rough both of those. So here's our plan. They led the diamond. We're going to win the ace of diamonds. Let me do it with annotation before showing all the text. We're going to win the ace of diamonds, and we're going to come over to our hand, and we're going to rough a diamond, and we're going to come back to our hand, and we're going to rough a diamond. And now our 2 diamond losers are gone. But if we had started on trump right away, we wouldn't have been able to rough both of those. So now we lead a trump. and we hope that they break. And we're going to lose two clubs, and we're going to lose one or two spades. Take the ace of diamonds, come over to the ace of hearts, ruff a diamond in dummy, come over to the king of hearts, ruff a diamond in dummy. Poof, the diamond losers are gone. But if we had called trump right away, at least one of the spades we needed in dummy would be gone, possibly both. Now, once we've done that work, we can start on trumps. I shouldn't show this hand, but I can't resist it. Once in a blue moon, you never call trump. It's very rare, but it is a ton of fun. Um, let's imagine we're playing four hearts and the trump split 4-1. If we follow the usual guideline of calling trump, we'll end up winning four spade tricks. Let's imagine they're 4-1. Four spade tricks, ace, ace, king, ace. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll end up winning 8 tricks. But this hand is really cool. These are very rare, but sometimes you'll see them. This ace is opposite a singleton. This ace is opposite a singleton. What we'll do is we'll win the ace of diamonds. I'll go ahead and annotate it, and then you can see the text later. We'll win the ace of diamonds. And we'll ruff a diamond into our hand. And I don't know if the order matters. We'll find out. If I were at the table, I'd try to think about it. I'm going to take two club tricks just to make sure they don't discard them and start ruffing. And now I'm going to cash the ace of hearts. I'm going to ruff a heart in dummy. I'm going to ruff a diamond in my hand. I'm going to ruff a heart in dummy. I'm going to ruff a diamond in my hand. I'm going to ruff a heart in dummy. I'm going to ruff a diamond in my hand. Holy smoke. There's only two cards left. One of them is the good king of spades, and the other one's a losing club. So what's going to happen is I'm going to quote cross ruff. Whoops. I'll end up winning those four tricks we talked about, and I'm going to take 8 tricks with our 8 different trumps. I was once in a 6-4 trump fit, and I didn't call trump. I took 10 tricks in the trump suit by cross-ruffing. Very rare, tons of fun. What's the 10% to remember? First of all, this is an excellent book on declare a play. It's very accessible. It's very clear. Planning the Play of a Bridge Hand by Barbara Seagram and David Byrne. In a suit contract, we're going to pick the hand with the longer trump suit. We're going to count the losers, and there's our mystery guest. It's essential to include the help from dummies high cards when we count the losers. We're going to look for ways to make those losers go away, eliminate them, get rid of them. We're going to discard them on winners in dummy. We're going to ruff them in dummy. We're going to take finesses. We're going to use all the tools we had from playing a no trump hand. Establishing honor cards, establishing long suits, taking finesses, and leading toward unsupported honors. And usually we call trump soon. We delay that if we have important work to do. Typically, it's when we need to ruff in dummy while dummy still has trump. Dummy doesn't have very many trump, and we can't afford to call trump right away. This takes a while to get used to, but eventually you'll become extremely comfortable with it and very adept at it. Homework, there's some good Bridgemaster hands, and then as usual, we'll go to the rooms and look at pre-bid hands. We'll start bidding in another 6 weeks or so. For those of you who've had a background in bidding, the coach can explain the bidding. And there we go. Appreciate your time. Bye.